instead of through the thing, which we've never tested before.
No, it's worked before.
Ah.
Okay, you guys, if you can see me, I'll be right back. 1 minute. All right, I presume you guys can see me. We've got, okay, good. You can see me. Kelly and Kristen are on the live stream today. So Kristen's talking about the shoulders and the traps being sore, and Kelly said something about one of her collarbones having an issue of some sort or another. As it turns out, I also am feeling really tight in my traps this morning, and it travels up the back of my neck to the base of my skull, and when this happens to me, it can turn into a headache. So it's good to figure out what can I do to release the shoulders and to open that area. So what's going on usually with the shoulders, sorry, I've got my broomstick. If you have a broomstick handy, you might find that. Is a lot of times, especially for me anyway, it's from computer work. And Kristen she's an artist, and so I don't know if there's some work happening down here. And it tends to be that we bring everything forward. So during our regular life, I have to remind myself again and again to open, open, open up. And even when I'm sitting looking over, I've got to figure out how to be able to change the ergonomics at my desk. It's an ongoing thing. So today, this morning, let's do a little bit of practiced. I've got to turn on put on my glasses because I can't see my camera lens here. Okay, so this is like from a broomstick, like from a push broom. Just starting with in front, bringing up over your head, and then you have to bring your hands out in order to bring it all the way back. And the closer you can bring them, the more stretch there is in the shoulders. So I'm going to bring mine in just a little bit and bring it back, and then you can find a spot where you can just hold it and you can feel the stretch in the shoulders. What tends to happen when we do this is we tend to kind of bulge out. Now I'm over exaggerating. We want to pull that in, stand tall, get the Uddiyana Bandha engaged. That means that feeling of up, and maybe ribs are tucked a little bit, or that feeling of the bottom ribs and the iliac crest coming together. Those are all part of Uddiyana Bandha. So we don't want to just collapse in. We're tall, we just bring energetically those 2 points together. Bring this up, and then, see, this is too close together. I can't get past. I've got to bring it out a little bit further in order to get past and be able to turn my shoulders. But at some point, there's a sweet spot where you can kind of just pull it back and hold it and breathe. Now I'm energizing my legs and my feet, give myself stability, internal rotation of the thighs, standing tall still. And one more breath, and then bring it forward and release it. Let's try it one more time. Bringing it up just a little bit further. I'm going to turn all the way down and then bring it all the way back up. My elbows are bent. If my shoulders were more flexible, maybe they wouldn't be so bent. But this is still kind of nice on the shoulders. All right, here's another idea. So I'm placing this between my shoulder and the base of my neck, and then just leaning back on that a little bit. It gives me a little bit of a stretch in my neck. It's subtle, but it can feel kind of good. And then the other side, as I turn to the other side, and just lean back. And so my top hand is pushing away, my right hand, the bottom hand, is pushing towards the front, and then my neck is kind of leaned back, and it gives it, if I lift up a little bit, it could be just a little bit of traction. Breathing. And we'll release that. Okay, one more thing I thought about. I mean, you can always do, did you ever do this as a kid and just kind of let that release this way, and it can kind of massage your trapezoid muscles. I'm feeling this a little bit in my forearm too. Standing tall. Uddiyana Bandha, that energetic lower ribs, iliac crest coming towards each other without losing the height. Okay, so this just came to me this morning. What I'm going to show you next, on a forward fold, I was really needing to release my low back, and I had this in my hand, and I put it like right underneath my belly button, and in my forward fold, I could pull up on this. So remember, we talk about forward fold, like you're coming up over a clothesline. Well, this can kind of give you that feeling and physically pull up. So standing really tall, come up and over and put this right there to pull up and underneath your belly button. It's really towards the iliac crest. Try to release the neck. And you can just release it and it just can sit there. I don't know. I would love to be in the room with you guys to see what this is like. just breathing through my first forward fold here as a warm-up. Maybe come a little towards the ball of your foot. I'm going to pull up on this one more time to get that feeling of there's a lift. I'm inhaling, coming up. There's a lift in that forward fold that it took me a long time to realize that there's a lifting action, and this kind of gives me that feeling of what that lift would feel like. So hopefully that could be of use to you guys. All right, I'm going to put my broomstick to the side. And workshop just a little bit more. You know what, I forgot I was videotaping this and I did not start it. Hang on a second. Okay, if you guys will humor me, because I was not videotaping that, I'm going to redo that. So, got a broomstick here, holding it in front of me. I can bring it up and all the way over. If the hands are too close, then it won't drop back. So the hands might have to come out further to drop it back and back over the top of the head. This is a nice warm-up for the shoulders. Kind of back and forth, making sure that we don't like bulge out in front. That's an exaggeration, but getting it all connected like we always do, with standing tall, the iliac crest and the hip bones coming towards each other without losing the height. Now, bringing it up over the head, bringing the hands slightly closer together, I can find a spot where if I just stay right there, there's a stretch through my front and the shoulders. Feels pretty good. And I'm focusing on my feet being into the ground, internal rotation. I'm getting it at my collarbone right now on the right. Shoulder blades are towards the spine. One more breath, then inhale, bring it up. This should really be a good opening in the front of the chest and closing the shoulder blades towards the spine. Another way I was using this trap muscle can actually come all the way up into the base of my neck and start to be a headache. So in order to release that, one way is to do it kind of curved. I don't know which way to show it, maybe from the back. So this is underneath the base of the skull on one side, and I'm resting my lower arm on it and pushing this towards that, and it's creating a little bit of traction. I'm breathing. If I bend my neck back, chin up, that might help. And switching to the other side, so hooking in kind of with the shoulder and pushing up with the upper arm, creating a little bit of traction on the opposite side. Looking up a little bit. This is really about figuring it out for yourself, what feels good. I'm making this up, guys. I just made that up this morning, so you could make something up yourself. How about the scarecrow hang? I don't know if that feels good to you. I can kind of roll it on my traps here, but there's something about just hanging on the stick that feels like a stretch in my arms. Maybe one side or the other is high. So you could hang for a little while. The other one that I just discovered this morning was in my forward fold. So bringing this a little bit below the navel, kind of at the level of the iliac crest where those bony protrusions come out. So I'm doing a forward fold, kind of like when we go up over the clothesline, but this gives me that feeling. So lifting up and coming forward into my forward fold. Now this will just hang by itself, but if I take my hands and push up, I can feel that up over the clothesline feeling. And relaxing the head. Coming a little forward on the balls of your feet. Feeling equal weight in both feet, not leaning to one side or the other. You can also just let go and bring your hands forward, lifting the shoulder blades towards the spine here, releasing the neck. I'm going to push up again on this stick. And as you do that, I'm going to inhale and come up. You might feel that lift that we're trying to do every time in a forward fold, but it took me a long time to figure out what that feels like. So this has been a really nice way for me to describe that lifting every time we go into a forward fold. So hopefully that has been helpful this morning, and I'm going to set this aside and we're going to go to the mat. So sometimes the reason our shoulders get sore from our practice is just habits of the way we do our sun salutes. So I'm going to go through some sun salute modifications today. When you lift your arms up, if you're lifting them straight forward, there can be a tendency to lift from here. So try this where you take your right hand, put it on your left shoulder, push it down, and see if you can push it down while you lift your shoulder. Notice the tendency and habit might be that it lifts as you move your hand. So push it down with the opposite hand. You can also bring it out to the side. Sometimes that helps to, you don't lift your traps so much when you're coming out to the side. Either one of these is correct when you're doing your sun salutes. So let's try the other side. Just lifting and pushing down on the trap to train it to stay down. Now, what's happening when we overuse the traps here is we are not using the muscles underneath our arms. So let's see if I can remember how I did this. Put your right hand on your upper arm and try to lift this arm without engaging here, and notice where the muscles engage. It will be in the pec and in the side instead of in the traps. So you're really trying to lower the shoulders while you're raising the sternum and then engaging in the pecs and in the sides. So let's try that again. Lowering the traps and giving some resistance on the upper arm to engage the pec muscles. So this might turn those muscles on. We have to retrain our muscles. We learned growing up the way to be. So we may have for years been kind of doing this. We have to retrain those muscles over and over again until they get the message that you traps, you can take a break because these guys under here are getting stronger. So the other thing is we repeat the chaturangas over and over and over again, and we just are developing strength in our upper body. And when we do it over and over again, we may start to rely on older habits. And so we need some way to do it differently so that we don't continue to reinforce the habits that create the tension in the traps. So without starting our practice yet, I'm going to do a sun salute and give a suggestion of not doing a chaturanga at all. This is an option. So coming to your mat, just begin your sun salute. I'm going to go out to the side instead of forward this time. So inhale, lift the arms, look to the thumbs. Exhale, forward fold, lifting there where we were just lifting with our stick. Inhale, look up. Now, this training position is an important position. Notice in this position, if you're completely relaxed, it's very possible that your traps are up by your ears. So I will cue shoulders back. So let's try that again. If you're just relaxed, the traps may go towards your ears. Shoulders back. engaging my pecs and underneath my arms. So now, keeping that shoulder back, think of lifting as you come back, lifting through that area where the stick was, and maybe thinking about the belly button towards the spine. Here's my high plank. Now, a high plank could just be like this. And notice how my belly can go down and I'm hanging from my shoulders. Or you can really lift in the middle. This will take the pressure off of your shoulders and it will build your core. You don't have to bend your elbows. You can go right here. So your high plank, and just think low plank, and then upward facing dog, followed by downward facing dog. Coming forward again. We'll try that again. So the idea is we're taking the pressure off of the traps by not doing our chaturanga on this modification. One more time. Inhale, look to the thumbs. Exhale, hands forward, head down. Inhale, look up. Now the traps are not engaged, but the muscles underneath bring it back without the traps bringing back the shoulders. Now just engage here in your core. Drop the knees. Don't bend your elbows. An upward facing dog and downward facing dog. Stepping forward. Halfway lift. So again, if we halfway lift and our traps are up by our ears, we want to avoid that. So that halfway lift, we're learning to bring our shoulders back away from our ears, and then inhale, come up, look to your thumbs. So some days I might skip the chaturangas in order to release my traps and give them a break. The other thing we can do is on especially our sun salute B, not bring our hands all the way up, even on the sun A. We can just inhale, come part way up, exhale forward. So if you find that, oh, this just really is making the traps work hard and you're trying to get them released, then just inhale to here and then forward fold. So those two modifications should help give your traps a break during your yoga practice. And you will go back to doing more chaturangas on days that you don't feel that pressure and tension there. You might decide that you can do 2 of the sun salutes and bend the elbows, and then you start feeling it more, and so then you back off and you skip the chaturangas. So hopefully that will help. We're going to go ahead and do some sun salutes this morning, a few standing poses, take a little bit of an easier type of practice. Every day your practice may look different depending on your energy level, depending on if the moon is full or if it's a new moon, depending on if you're on your moon cycle. If you're a woman and you're menstruating, then you want to have an easier or no practice at all. So some days are vigorous, some days less vigorous. This is a less vigorous practice that I'm showing you today. Taking off my glasses, going to the mat, let's do our practice, applying some of those things. Standing tall, coming to the breath, closing the eyes, hands in Anjali Mudra or prayer. Exhale the air, inhale for Om. Even here, bringing the shoulders away from the ears, hands to thighs. Inhale, Yekam, look up. Exhale, hands down, head down. Inhale, look up, shoulders wide and back. Exhale, high plank, stay in high plank, engage the core, and then exhale the knees down. Inhale, upward facing dog, wide shoulders. Exhale, downward facing dog, 5 breaths. Now really keep those elbows working towards each other. You don't want the traps to be working here. Keep breathing. You can flip the hips, kind of like when we were using the stick on our hips. Last breath. Inhale, come forward. Exhale the head here. Inhale, shoulders back. As you come up, maybe only part way, exhale, Samastitihi. Continue to engage in the pecs instead of the traps. Exhale, the hands down, the head down. Inhale, look up. Bring the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, step back. High plank. Your low plank is just the knees down. Inhale, upward facing dog, wide shoulders. Exhale, downward facing dog, 5 breaths. The other thing in downward facing dog is to remember to push at the base of the thumb and the first finger. And this will help to keep the shoulders less strong and your arms more strong, if that makes sense. Inhaling and exhaling 2 more times. And 5. Inhale, look forward, come forward. Exhale the head there, shoulders are back. Inhale, still, shoulders down as you come up. Exhale, Samastitihi. Once again, inhale, shoulders down. Exhale, hands down, head down. Inhale, look up, shoulders back. Exhale, high plank, knees. Low plank, really engaging in the pecs. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths. 1. 2. Pulling up at the navel. 3. Still allowing the heels to go down. 4. 5. Inhale, come forward, step forward. Exhale the head down. Inhale, come all the way up. Engage the pecs. And exhale, Samastitihi. Surya Namaskar beat. Bend the knees, come up, maybe only part way. Exhale the hands down, head down, shoulders back. Inhale, continue shoulders back. Push into the hands if you can while you step back. Bring the middle up, knees down, but continue to bring the middle up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Raise there in the middle as you bring your foot forward in the lunge. Inhale, come up. And you may not bring your hands all the way up if your shoulders are sore. Exhaling down. Again, we're not doing a chaturanga today. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, stepping forward with the left. Engaging the core as you do that step. Inhale, come up. And you might just widen the shoulders and not bring the hands up at all. Exhale, hands down, stepping back. Knees, wide shoulders, elbows towards the ribs. And exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths here. Walking yourself through your cues. Base of the thumb and first finger engaged. Elbows rotating towards each other, which makes the shoulders rotate away from the ears. Lifting the core, lowering the heels. 1 more breath. Inhale, look forward, come forward. Exhale, right there. Bend the knees as you come up and really bring your elbows towards each other to keep yourself from lifting from the traps. Exhale, Samasthiti. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Head down, shoulders back. Inhale, look up, shoulders back, elbows are towards the midline. Exhale, upward plank, and exhale the knees down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now lift from the core as you bring the foot forward. Inhale, come up. Maybe you don't bring the hands up at all. Exhale, down, step back. Just lower the knees and then upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Engage the core as you bring the foot forward. Inhale, come up. Wide shoulders. Exhale, hands down. Step back. Stay in the high plank, but bring the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now here, bring your knees down. I need to get a block and tell you about child's pose in this position. For child's pose, in between, sorry, let me check and make sure you guys aren't telling me something that I need to know. Oh, thank you. Latissimus dorsi. Yes, that's the one. Exactly, Kelly. The latissimus dorsi is the one that comes on the side, especially at the top. Okay, so here we are. Instead of doing our downward facing dog, we can do child's pose. I bring my hands on the block this way, and I'm not necessarily squeezing. This is to make sure that they don't go flailing out to the side, and then it's really the elbows rolling in and releasing the shoulders. This is what's happening in child's pose that, unless I tell you that, you wouldn't be able to see it. So here I am in child's pose, hands against the block, not necessarily squeezing, but bring the elbows towards each other to bring the shoulders away from the ears. Now here I can also energetically pull back into the shoulder girdle, and that's going to engage those muscles again, the pecs, the side muscles, the latissimus dorsi. Those are going to engage as I energetically pull back into my shoulder girdle. Breathing here. And let's call that 4.5. Inhale, look up. We've got to get back into our downward facing dog to finish our sun salute. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, down. Now feel that engagement before you come up. So I'm engaging below my traps, not my traps. As I come up, my elbows are staying towards each other as I bring it up, and then Samasthiti. Let's do one more without me cueing everything. See if your mind will remember. Bend the knees. Inhale. Exhale, head down. Inhale, up. Exhale, step back. Stay high, just drop the knees. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Engage the core as you come forward. Inhale, come up. Exhale, down. Just the knees down. Inhale, upward. Exhale, downward. Engage the core as you come forward. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, upward facing, elbows towards the ribs. Exhale, downward facing. Continue the thumb first finger engagement. Breathing. Thinking about that action of pulling your shoulders back into the shoulder girdle that engages the pecs and latissimus dorsi here. trying to release the heels. Raise that middle part where the broomstick was on the forward fold. Last breath. Inhale forward. Exhale the head down. Engage those latissimus dorsi and pec muscles, keeping the elbows energetically working towards each other and bringing the hands up. Exhale, Samastitihi. Hopefully that will be really helpful as you practice over the next few days your sun salutes. Let's go on and do our Padangustasana. Inhale tall. I'm going to put my hands right there where that broomstick was as I come forward, lifting, then take my toes. Inhale, look up, shoulders back. Exhale the head down. Breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, just look up with your head. Change your hand position. The whole time, you're bringing the shoulder blades towards the spine. Exhale the head down. 2, 3. Looking to feel the ribs on your thighs. 4, 5. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release the hands to the hips, but bring the shoulder blades back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, Samastitihi. Stepping out to the right for triangle, Uttita Trikonasana. So again, there may be a tendency to, exaggerating, lift the traps as you come out. So you want to consciously bring the hands out and not lift the traps as you come forward. And maybe you won't go as far today as you continue to focus on bringing your energy to the pecs and the latissimus dorsi, those side muscles. Breathing. Trying to extend from the spine and the base all the way up to your head. Exhale, inhale, come up. Switch your feet. Exhale, forward. Again, trying to focus on the pec and the latissimus dorsi. I often need to extend my neck here, and I don't look all the way up to my hand because that sometimes gives me tension. And 5, inhale, come up. Do the reverse, Parvrita Trikonasana. And again, I may not go so far over, and if I bring my hand up here, that's going to create tension in my neck. So I bring it down on my back sometimes and focus on getting my hips perpendicular to the side of the mat and parallel to the top of the mat. Extending my spine. Try not to put tension in my neck. Pushing into the feet. And 5, inhale, come up, switch, other side. And so this is what it would look like, the full expression, but I'm just folding that top hand onto my back and trying to square my hips to the top of the mat, extend the spine, push into the feet. Notice how this gives a break to your traps, but I can still manage to get some tension in my neck if I'm not thinking. And 5, inhale, come up. Exhale, Samastitihi. Stepping out for Parsva Konasana. All right, so the forearm here may make the shoulder go up. So you want to drop that elbow down. It might be that it's better to let it drop by having a block to the side. Finding the right amount. So again, I could bring my hand all the way up, and this gives a side stretch. But if I'm going to do that, let me show you. If I'm going to do that, I need to bring this back into the shoulder girdle. So I can do this and I can bring a lot of tension into my traps, or I can bring it back so that these traps are low and this is what is being worked. So here we go. Down into partial Konasana. Or if the traps are really sore, then just lay that arm on the back and focus on the feet going into the ground, opening your chest towards the ceiling, pushing again into the feet, engaging the core, extending the neck, and 5. Inhale, come up. If you have a block, switch it to the other side. So lunging into the left side. If the arm is up, pull it back into the shoulder girdle or just let it lay on your back. Push into the feet. Release the neck, but extend the neck out of the spine. Sternum towards the ceiling. And 5. Inhale. Switch to the opposite side. So let's drop the back knee again. If we go through all of this, which is where we're headed, again, if you have not yet trained your traps to release, this may be too much. So better would be to come all the way up, let these drop. And sometimes I put my hands here, I lift them, it lifts my traps. So instead, I lower. This is all about keeping the traps low. And then do the twist. And I'm bringing my attention to bring my hip forward here and my waist, my ribs back here. Inhale, tall. Exhale, a little bit more twist. Inhale, tall. Twist more. One more time. And inhale, look forward. Come on up. Second side. Exhale, down. So always trying to get length on my inhale, twist on the exhale, keeping my traps from getting involved. Inhale, tall. Exhale, twist. Inhale, tall. Exhale, twist a little bit more. Inhale, tall. Twist. Last one. Inhale, look forward, release the pose, and come on up. All right, wide leg, forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. So feet are facing forward or slightly pigeon-toed. Get that block out of the way. Inhale, up out of the pelvis. Again, remember that spot where the stick was, and you're trying to lift there, and then come forward. Hands are straight down here. Releasing, again, the traps by bringing the tops of the shoulders into the shoulder girdle. So there's a continual lifting of the tail, but still the feet are pushing into the ground, which brings energy up the leg. Releasing the neck. The shoulders are released, but back. And 5. Inhale, just come partway up. Look towards the top of the mat, well, the side of the mat. Exhale there. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale the hands down. Inhale, tee out the arms. Now again, this tee out may end up lifting your traps. So think about the traps being low, just lifting the arms until the traps engage. Exhale there, your hands on your waist, focusing on the elbows coming back and down to bring open in the chest. Sometimes it helps me to bring my thumbs way up on the ribs and kind of pull my ribs up, but then release my traps down. So here we go. Inhale, tall. Exhale, forward, keeping all of that action of bringing the traps down, but the elbows close together, energetically working towards each other, which brings the collarbones wide. I'm literally bringing my hands closer together in order to get that stretch in my collarbones. Let's call that 5. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, release the hands. Inhale, tee out the arms. And here we interlace the fingers behind. Now, this again is a lot like the broomstick. We're wanting to bring the shoulder blades close together and then lift. So on the inhale, roll the shoulders back and down and then lift up. Every inhale, I'm bringing the shoulder blades together and down, and then I'm lifting. This gives a stretch to the collarbones. So inhale, bringing the shoulders back and down, and then lift. I can't remember when I'm not doing it. So here I go. I'm up out of the pelvis, coming forward. Shoulder blades are close together. Inhale, shoulder blades together. Exhale, let them drop a little bit further. Inhale, roll the shoulder blades together. Exhale, they can lift a little bit more. This is the way you get further. It's really a relaxed position. The relaxing has to happen by opening the front of the body, and that is done by bringing the shoulder blades closer together and roll back. That's probably enough breaths. Inhale, come on up. Exhale the hands down. Inhale up out of the pelvis. Again, trying to feel that spot where the stick was below the navel. Exhale forward. I'm actually using my hands to find that spot. Taking my toes. Inhale again, lifting at that midpoint underneath the navel and exhaling the head down. So the shoulders here, again, bring them back into the shoulder girdle, and the shoulder blades come closer together. This is going to bring the elbows, for me, closer to my knees in order to achieve that. Relaxing the neck, maybe a little forward in the ball of the foot. Still lifting at the top of the femurs towards the ceiling. Relaxing the head. Inhale, just look up. Come partway up, straighten the arms. Exhale there. Inhale, come all the way up. Bring the hands to the hips. And then exit, Konasana. All right, last one. Parshva Konasana. No. I don't remember the name. This is the reverse prayer. So it took me a long time to be able to successfully do reverse namaste this way. If you can do that, even without bending over, it's really good for that spot where corporal tunnel becomes an issue. So this is a good one just to practice to see how much you can do. You can also just take your fists and bring your elbows closer together. That will bring your chest high. And again, there's a tendency to want to bulge out, engage Uddiyana Bandha, or sometimes the most effective thing is to take opposite elbows and really pull back and down on the shoulder blades. For some people, it might be a return to interlacing the fingers. If you can, try to get your hands together and interlace and hold it there. Sometimes there's not even enough flexibility to do that, and so the wrists will kind of move apart. But try this. We're not even going to go over today. We're just going to try different kinds of ways to open up our chest. Breathing again. And 5. So we're going to pretend like we've done both sides of that pyramid pose, and let's vinyasa and go to the ground. Inhale, look up. Exhale the hands down, head down. Shoulders are back, even here in tree position. Stepping back, shoulders wide. Keep the elbows working towards each other. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Base of the thumb and the first fingers. Come on down to Dandasana. So we're not really going to be rotating all the way here, but you can bring your shoulders back in Dandasana. Lift here. This lifting action from the navel to the sternum is really a big deal to release the traps, because these muscles down here will support the traps that have been taking all of the pressure over the years. So just this lifting action is going to release the traps over time as these muscles get stronger. So Dandasana is really about lifting from here to here, grounding still in your hips. You can look down. You don't want to look down so that you bend your back, but it's just eyes down, chin down a little bit. And 5. Inhale, look up. Now, I love to lift my ribs here. Again, trying to get that feeling, maybe tucking it with my fingers as I come forward. And the hands go where they go. And there's a tendency again for, you can see my traps coming up to my ears. So we're going to pull those back. And as I do, my elbows come towards each other. As opposed to this, they're this way. And 5, inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose. We will skip the other 2 right here. And we're going to skip a vinyasa and work on Purvottanasana, which brings the hands way back. Now this is a shoulder opener. So here my hands are back, but my shoulders are not open. My shoulder blades are far apart. My shoulders are coming towards the front of my body. This is the wrong way. We want to open and lift. So again, notice the elbows. Let's see if I can turn. Notice the elbows coming towards each other. So this is just relaxed, not good, right? As we lift the chest, and then the elbows come towards each other. And then you can open the front of your chest by lifting your chin, or if that bothers your neck, then just keep your gaze down and keep the chin down. So all of this needs to happen before we go up. If I were with you, I would come and give you an adjustment and really pull these back, and you would feel along the collarbones a stretch. But this could be a warm-up when you're in the middle of the day and you're just needing to open up those collarbones. This is a way to do it. And let's call that 5. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose. And we're going into a vinyasa, pulling the feet in. Now, this is a great time to give a little bit of a counter pose. We're going to roll our back. My traps are even high on this. But rolling forward and then opening up as I come up, really pulling the chest through in my chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and come on to seat. Well, let's just do one more pose, and we'll do Ardha Baddha Paschimottanasana. So if you have a towel and you can open this up, or you take the toe, I'm going to get a towel so I don't overdo it this morning. this bind is precisely to open up the collarbones. So if you bring this around, here's a towel around the foot, taking my right hand all the way back and then taking the towel. Now, if I inch along the towel, this is going to open this shoulder up. If your trap goes up, that's going to not feel anything on your collarbone. If you can get the trap to come down, maybe lower your arm as low as you can get it, then you're going to feel the collarbone come open. Engaging the straight foot leg, maybe a forward fold, 5 breaths. And 5, inhale, look up. Exhale, we'll release that side and just come into the second side. So same thing, wherever the foot goes. If it's down by the knee and you need a belt instead of a towel, maybe you need a longer something to hold the foot, that would be a possibility. So once again, trying not to allow everything to come forward here and to concave into the chest. Opening up, trying to bring this back, maybe lowering the arm to bring that open. Being straight with my body, and then forward, keeping all of this open from the bind. And 5, inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose. So one more time, let's go into our vinyasa, rounding the back, lifting here, and then we step back, bringing the elbows towards each other. Downward facing dog, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And now we can be ready for our closing. Let's do bridge prep to start our closing. I'm going to use, I've got to grab another block, my 2 blocks. All right, so let's talk about this pose in relationship to our shoulders and neck. My tendency is to work very, very hard at this pose, which it takes. But as I'm working so hard on my lower body, my jaw and my neck will get involved. So tuck your shoulder blades under. I'm coming up on my elbows a little bit to tuck my shoulder blades, open my shoulders a little bit, and then coming back down on my upper back. It's a subtle thing, but opening the front of the body is always a good thing. Now I'm just going to, my hands can go wherever, but I want to keep my shoulder blades tucked under. So squeezing the block between my legs, I'm watching to see if my jaw squeezes with that. Now tuck the tail so that it points to the back of the knees, or Uddiyana Bandha. Think about the ribs, iliac crest coming closer together. And then lift, squeeze, and breathe. Notice if your jaw or your neck is getting tight as you breathe. 3, squeeze, 4, and 5. Exhale there, release, and inhale, tuck the tail so that the tail is towards the back of the knees. Exhale there, inhale, squeeze, come up, squeeze and breathe, but watch your jaw and your neck. 2, 3, release your jaw if it's tight. 4, and 5. Exhale there. Release one more time. And re-engage. Exhale there. Inhale, come up. Check your neck, your jaw. Squeeze. There should be a release in the glutes. If you're squeezing, internally rotating, The glutes should not be engaged. You can check them with your hands. Breathing again. 4. Squeeze. And 5. Exhale there. Go ahead and set your blocks to the side. Bring your knees up to your chest, releasing your lower back. And then I have my hands underneath my knees, kind of squeezing my thighs to my chest. And then I can use that as leverage to rock up and forward fold again. So inhale, again, we're going to bring those ribs up. Exhale forward, or maybe the hands go to that spot where the stick was, or it tucks my extra roll under. Bringing my ribs to my thighs. The upper back is more like upward facing dog, like a subtle upward facing dog. But then release the neck. Inhaling and exhaling. Engaging the legs by thinking of energy coming out of the heels and the balls of the foot. This is 10 breaths. Let's call that 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose, cross at the ankles, round the back, come forward, lift up, and then back. Exhale and inhale. I'm taking bent arms, you don't need to, and coming forward again. I'm going to skip shoulder stand and all of that series and just go to our closing poses. So coming to a comfortable seat, half lotus, full lotus, whatever is right for you. Here we go again with the shoulders. Notice as we bring this around, we've already done this move before. Opening the shoulder as we lay the arm on the back and the other one. Now, if you find yourself leaning forward, just roll your shoulders back, sit tall. This before you go forward. Now think about, my hands are occupied, but if I had another set of hands, maybe they would remind me of that spot where the stick was below my navel as I come forward. Breathing, keeping the shoulder blades working towards the spine and down the back. Releasing the neck, slowing the breath down. 6, 7, 8. Come on up. You can always add 2 more breaths and make that 10 on that count. Bringing the hands forward. In Padmasana, seated meditation. So look again at your shoulders and your upper back. Are you leaning forward? Can you raise your sternum and bring your shoulders back, but still have your arms, your elbows, your wrists straight? Your hands are straight. You can do a mudra with your finger and thumb if you want. Exhaling all of your air, still sitting tall. Inhaling slowly, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exhale slowly, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale slowly. Eyes are open, looking down at the mat in front of you. Exhale slowly. 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, this is the 3rd breath. And exhale. Inhale again. Exhale. Breath number 5. Exhale. 6. 7, 'Inhaling number 8. 9. The breath should be getting longer, but still smooth. Eyes are still open, arms are still straight. And onto your last breath. Smooth, long, beautiful breath. Now release your elbows. Just sit for a moment with your hands resting on your knees. You can close your eyes and just find that spot inside of you that is your eternal self. Sometimes I call this process of finding that deep part of you an internal smile. So try to find that internal smile that shows love and compassion for yourself. Don't pick on yourself. Love that eternal part of you. You might choose to stay here longer. We're going to skip the last pose where we raise up off of the ground and simply go to our Shavasana from here with a calm mind, with a feeling of love for self, a feeling of peace and quiet. Coming to a resting place. Now it might help to tuck your shoulder blades under and open up that chest. If I were in the room with you, very often I come and I push open the collarbones. That's where you're going for your Shavasana. If the low back bothers you at all, raise the knees. This is meant to be very comfortable. Inhaling, bringing your attention to the bottom of your feet and bringing energy all the way up through your body, up through every cell of your body to the top of the crown of your head, and exhaling light down through every cell of your body, releasing old energy that no longer is needed out through the bottom of your feet, recycling into the ground. That energy can be reused elsewhere. Let's do that again. Inhale all the way up through every cell of your body, from the feet all the way up to the top of the crown of the head. And then when you get to the top, exhale all the way down through every cell of your body, releasing toxins, unused energy that is no longer needed in your body at this time. Exhaling it all the way down to the ground, then inhaling one more time all the way to the top of the crown of your head, and bringing energy from the earth. Then exhaling, bringing light from the sun, from the stars and the moon, working its way through all of your body, cleansing out the old, recycling it into the ground. And then release into your own Shavasana. You know how to end your practice with peace and calm. I give my internal namaste to you this day. Thank you for this opportunity to work on mind-body connection with the shoulders. And also we worked quite a bit with bringing the core into the practice so that our shoulders don't have to do so much. May you have peace and love through this day and find balance wherever you are. My internal namaste to you. Stay in your Shavasana as long as appropriate for you. And then come out when you're ready.